Good evening, everyone. And I want to welcome you to the first of 5 educational webinars that we are entitling Cultivating Your Potential, which is going to be spotlighting several of FSA's flagship programs that are available to farmers and ranchers here in this state. I will be serving as your moderator tonight. My name is Joy Moten Thomas, and I serve as the Assistant Extension Administrator for Community Development and Outreach here at Fort Valley State University. So I want to welcome you for being an active participant with us tonight. We are very fortunate to have 2 special guests with us today. Representing FSA, we have Mr. Neil Leonard, and we have Ms. Millicent Harrison, who are a part of the FSA team at the Peach County Fort Valley office here in our state of Georgia. Today, we're going to be focusing on 3 programs. We're going to be focusing on understanding farm enrollment. We're going to be talking about farm operating loans. And we will also be talking about farm storage facility loans. We don't want to overwhelm you, but we have 15 programs that we're going to cover this month on every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Just to give you some ground rules, please feel free to address your questions in the chat box, and I will make sure that our presenters have the opportunity to respond to your questions before we conclude this webinar. I also want you to be aware that this webinar is being recorded and will be posted on Fort Valley State University's YouTube channel. Well, let me be clear, Fort Valley State University's Cooperative Extension Program's YouTube channel. We are making this opportunity available based on funding that we received from the National Office of the Farm Service Agency that is allowing us to put on this training at no cost to you. So with that being said, I want to welcome you, and I want you to sit back and enjoy the presentations that the Farm Service Agency has in store for you today. With that being said, I'm going to turn the podium over to Mr. Neil Leonard and allow him to start us off with the farm enrollment program. Thank you, everybody. Mr. Leonard.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. My name is Neil Leonard. I'm the Outreach Coordinator for the Georgia FSA State Office. I do want to bring you greetings from the Georgia FSA State Office, where our State Executive Director is Arthur Tripp. So I bring you greetings from the State Office. I will be doing some presentations today about our programs. I also have with me Ms. Millicent Harrison, and she would now at this time, she would be presenting as well, but I will give her this opportunity to introduce herself as well.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Millicent Harrison. I'm a farm loan officer at the Peach County Service Center. We handle about 25 counties in this area, so I'm happy to present all of our programs, and hopefully you will learn a lot about what FSA has to offer, and we can get you some financing.
Don't want to go ahead and give you a little bit more introduction on what we will be providing tonight. I would definitely start out with FSA farm enrollment and what that actually is. Millicent will come next to speak about operating loans, and then I will finish up talking about farm storage facility loans. So we'll go ahead and get started with our farm enrollment. Again, with FSA, we have farm programs and we have farm loans. And so for starters, we're going to look at the categories that the farm programs fall up under. on this first slide, we see here safety net slash disaster programs, and we have a list of programs that we have that falls up under this particular category. And I will say we have a safety net programs and we have disaster type programs. You see the livestock forage programs, see the livestock indemnity programs. And I just want to go ahead and mention first and foremost, these first two. If you have livestock, for the most part with FSA, the programs that we have available for livestock producers are disaster type programs for the most part. Just want to go ahead and mention that if you are a producer out there that have livestock, or if you're considering getting you a livestock operation, whether it's cows, hogs, goats, for the most part with FSA, when it comes to livestock, the programs that we do have are disaster type program. We have the ELAP, we have the Tree Assistant Program, we have the Non-Insured Assistant Program, and then we have the Wildfire and Hurricane Indemnity Program, which those are actually disaster type programs that are listed. Actually, these particular programs fall up under disaster programs. Other safety net programs, actually we have the ARC and the PLC program. Actually, and I go ahead and mention with the webinars this month, next week program will be ARC PLC, and that's actually a safety net program. And for the most part, you know, with some of our programs like with ARC PLC, actually they try to provide a floor for our producers. And for the most part with this particular program, it's for those row crop producers that we have. We do have the organic certification cost share program that's falling both under the safety net program. I'll talk a little bit more about the organic programs as well. Acreage reporting. We do have conservation programs. And for a number of years now, we have had the CRP program. ECP has been around. Matter of fact, CRP and ECP has been around since I began with the agency about 30 years ago. So these programs have been around for a number of years. But conservation is a category that we have where we have programs that falls up under this particular category. The EFRP, Emergency Forestry Restoration Program, that's been around a while. Haven't been around as long as CRP and ECP, but it falls up under our conservation programs. Price support programs that's listed here, for the most part, these programs have been around a number of years. And so with these particular programs falls up under price support. So again, let me just mention, we got safety net programs, we got disaster programs, we got conservation programs, and then we got price support programs. And so just giving you those categories, and then within those categories, we have a number of programs that actually fall in these categories. As a matter of fact, you see the last one down there, farm storage facility loan. Actually, it's part of our loan program, but it falls up under the farm program side, under the price support programs. So it may sound a little wordy. The farm storage facility loan is a loan, but it falls up under farm programs. And then the category, it falls up on price support. So just giving you, again, a little definition of our programs. the pandemic assistance program. This is an organic program that we had that is fairly new, the Organic Transitional Education and Certification Program. With the pandemic assistance, what I'm gonna go ahead and mention here, Joy, is that one of the things you have to be mindful of with FSA, traditionally, in time past, all of our programs that we had, the funding or the appropriations came up under the Farm Bill, and all of the programs that we administered was up under the Farm Bill. But here in recent years with disaster, with COVID-19, there have been other appropriations that have been approved. There have been other monies that have been approved. And when that funding was approved, then there came about new programs. So you have the Farm Bill appropriations, you have funding for the Farm Bill and its programs, you got funding for the pandemic assistance. And so producers have to be very sharp and mindful, even to know where the funding come from, and based on those fundings, will determine what programs. I do want to go ahead and mention it at this time, be mindful of farmers.gov. That website is a public website for farmers. You can go on there and learn a lot about the programs and the appropriations in which those programs are funded up under. The reason why I do want to mention that is because with the Farm Bill appropriations, that's every 4 years. And for the most part, those programs that we saw earlier, those programs will at least exist during the Farm Bill. And right now we're under the 2018 Farm Bill. You know those programs will exist during that time. However, under the other appropriations, they may decide what's going to be important is the sign-up dates, because those programs may only exist during the sign-up dates, which is key. So with the Farm Bill, we know the Farm Bill exists for 4 years, but there are other programs and other appropriations which funding was approved, and then programs have come out from those appropriations. So just be mindful. Again, just go up under the farmers.gov and you can read a lot more about it. Visiting the FSA County office. FSA County office are open and assisting producers by telephone appointments, email, fax, online tools, some in-person appointment determined by location with COVID-19 status. I'm pretty sure everybody is aware now of COVID-19 and how it has affected us being able to assist our farmers here at the county office. I will say, feel free to call the county office and set up an appointment for you to meet with either the farm loan staff or the farm program staff, and they will be able to assist you with your needs. Basic information, contact information, tax identification number, farm operating structure, adjusted gross income to ensure eligibility, direct deposit to enable payment processing. Let me just say this, if you are a new producer who may not have come into the county office, a lot of times with our beginning farmers and ranchers who have not been in the county office, let me just say this, in getting started with, speaking of enrollment, and getting started with FSA, you need a farm serial number. And if you're going to be working with NRCS and some of the other USDA agencies, oftentimes you're going to need that farm serial number. And what you would need, if you own the land, if you inherit the land, bring in a deed and a plaque showing that you are the owner, the owner of the land, and a plaque showing the boundaries. And that way we can get you in our name and address file. And so you bringing that deed and that plaque in would definitely show, say, hey, look, I'm the owner of the land. Here's the deed, here's the plaque showing the boundaries. If you don't own the land, if you are leasing the land, then you want to bring in your lease agreement. For the most part, that are some of the basic information that we're going to need to be able to get you in the name and address file. If you own the land, bring that plaque and that deed in. If you're leasing the land, then you need to bring in a lease agreement. That's some of the basic information that we would need to get you in the name and address file, and then we can get you a farm serial number set up. My contact information for the local Peach County office that's here, where Millicent and I are housed. The number here is 478-827-0016. I will go ahead and mention, since we talked about enrollment, I do want to go ahead and mention some deadlines that are coming up for March the 15th. The ARC, the PLC program that we mentioned a little earlier, which we'll be discussing next Tuesday. That deadline is March the 15th. And then we have with the Conservation Reserve General sign up, that deadline is March the 11th for CRP. And then our deadline, I think, is at Pecans. Acres report deadline is March the 15th as well. So just wanted to mention those deadlines since we were making reference about enrollment. So we want to go ahead and start out with that information. Millicent, I'm gonna turn it over to her, and she's gonna talk about the operating loan.
All right, thank you, Neil, for that introduction. My section, you guys, is about the farm loan programs that we have available through FSA. So the next few moments we're going to take to just go over some of the programs that we have and to see the types of financing that you can apply for in the future. So again, my name is Millicent Harrison. I work at the Peach County Service Office. We handle about 25 counties here, and we cover a district that's about the size from Hurd County all the way down to Sumter. So if you do have other counties that you may be operating in, I can send you a map so that you can locate your nearest service center and then apply with them. We don't handle all the applications for all the counties in Peach County. We have about 10 different service centers. I've been a farm loan officer for about 7 years now. I graduated from college. I actually went to Fort Valley State University and graduated with a degree in ag econ. And then I started my career with USDA in North Carolina. So I moved here a couple years ago, and I am offering financing just like I was in North Carolina back home. So let's start with, that's my contact information here. Let's start with our mission statement for FSA. FSA's mission is to equitably serve all farmers and ranchers and agriculture partners through the delivery of effective, efficient ag programs for all Americans. The Farm Service Agency offers loans to help farmers and ranchers get the financing they need to start, expand, or maintain a family farm. My goal today is to make sure that you understand what programs we have available, who we are, what we do, and then how to apply for financing. The Farm Loan Department has several types of programs available, starting with the microloan. The microloan requests are $50,000 or less. They're divided into two types, the operating and the farm ownership.
Operating you can use to purchase livestock or equipment, and farm ownership is for real estate. The microloan program is more flexible as it has a smaller application package and it's more accessible for our smaller type operations. So for our honeybee farmers, small vegetable producers, our goat farmers, our sheep farmers, and for smaller livestock type operations. The microloan application is simpler. It involves less paperwork. The managerial requirements are relaxed to accommodate for veterans and smaller operations and beginning farmers. There are no term limits for veterans and beginning farmers as well. For operating loans, we do require experience, but we will accept 4-H club membership, FFA experience in the past, beginning farmers or ranchers programs that you've graduated from, and also self-guided apprenticeships. So if you're working with a mentor or you have experience working on a farm, we will accept that. For farm ownership loans, you will need at least 3 years of farm management experience. What qualifies you as a beginning farmer is farming for at least 3 out of the last 10 years prior to the application date. We will substitute 1 year of experience using post-secondary education, business experience if you managed a business or another farm in the past, military experience as an officer or E5 or above, or repayment of an FSA youth loan. The maximum limitation is $50,000. You can apply for the $50,000 for both operating and the farm ownership at the same time, and that's a maximum of $100,000. The repayment terms vary from 1 to 7 years for the operating and 25 years to purchase real estate. So these are the things you should expect to have discussions with your farm loan officer when you start applying. Go ahead and have a plan put together before you apply for financing, talking about what you will sell, how will you sell these products, how will they be marketed, and how much income you expect to get. We will be asking for contracts that you have, verifications of where you got your research from, if it's based off of historical production, or you have research from a budget that you may have used from UGA. We just want to know the overall plan for your farm and how you expect to pay the loan back. Also, we also want you to have a farm number with FSA established. Starting with the balance sheet, this is just basically your financial records. So the balance sheet means who you owe and what you own. Assets would be what you own. So that would be land, equipment, livestock. If you already have cash or savings accounts, if you have retirement accounts, that would be your assets. Who you owe is your liabilities and your debts. So we ask for a most current billing statement for all the accounts that you have with your farm. We will pull a credit report. We also ask you for the amount of payments that you're making monthly. The farm assessment is an overall view of what your operations plans are. So we want to know your goals, who's involved with the farm, who is making all the decisions on that farm. The farm organization just means that if there's an entity applicant and you own an entity and it's Millicent Harrison LLC, then we would want to know who's a part of that entity and then who would be farming and who's responsible for keeping up the records, doing all the labor, all the marketing, anybody that's involved with your members of that organization. We also want to see your historical performance. So we would ask for your last 3 years of tax returns. We want to see where that land is, like Mr. Neal said, the deed of trust or the sales contract or whatever document ties you to that land, showing that you're the owner. We want to make sure that that land is adequate to support your business operation. So for instance, if it's livestock and you have cattle, we want to see that you have enough pasture to support your cattle operation. If it's row crop, we want to know that you have enough cleared land to support your operation. These are all just things that we'd be asking for and what to expect when you apply with FSA. The most common question that we get with FSA when someone calls about a farm loan application is that how long is this going to take? What is our application process like? And what are the documents that we need? Everything on this slide here is something that we might ask for. So be expecting to provide the legal description like we talked about, any farm training and experience, your tax returns, your documentation of environmental compliance, that's your FSA farm number, and having an AD 1026, a current financial statement, that's your balance sheet, your operating plan, that's your business plan for the farm, and then paying the credit report fee. All of this information can help guide you and make the loan process simpler for the loan officer and then also for you because you want it to be done timely. So if you have these documents at the ready, it's already organized, and you have it at the time of the application, then it makes the whole process smoother. FSA has 7 days from the date that you complete your application and send it to us to respond back with a letter called the incomplete letter. So from the time you apply, we'll give you 7 days, or we have 7 days to provide you a letter detailing all the information that was missing from the original application. If there was something missing, you have an additional 15 days to provide more information. If you do not respond or gather the necessary information, there will be a second incomplete letter, and it will be sent out to allow you 15 more days. Within that time frame, you've had 15 days to respond to the first letter and 15 more days from the second letter. So overall is 30 days in order for you to provide that information to FSA. FSA also has 30 days to give you a decision of approved or denied. So keep that in mind when you're applying with us, that we want to make sure that you're providing all the information in that time frame so that it's not withdrawn. Once the application is withdrawn, then you will have to reapply. So you have 30 days to provide information, and we have 30 days to let you know if you're approved or denied. All right, so we talked about the microloan program, that the requests are less than 50,000 and the terms go up to 7 years for operating. And then for ownership, they go up to 25 years. And for our veterans and our minority applicants, then the beginning farmers, the term limits are exempt. This next section is about the requests that are above 50,000. So this is our regular direct farm loan program. To be eligible for FSA farm loans, you must be unable to obtain credit elsewhere. And that just means that you've already been shopping around for financing before. For whatever reason you were turned down, or maybe you don't qualify for a regular commercial loan, or it's perhaps that bank doesn't provide ag lending. You also have to be a citizen or legal resident alien with the US government, possess legal capacity to incur the loan obligation, have acceptable credit history, and be the owner, operator, or the tenant of a family farm. The other eligibility requirements are here. You must not be delinquent on any other federal debt, have managerial ability for the type of loan requested, not have caused the agency a loss or receiving debt forgiveness, and not have been convicted of planting, growing, or producing an illegal substance within the last 5 years. When you start developing your farm business plan, what we're looking for is repayment ability. So keep that in mind when you're running your numbers for the type of operation that you want to have. We're looking for that farm produce or that farm livestock, whatever you are producing on that piece of land, to produce enough income to make your payment in the future. We'll also look for collateral to secure the loan. Most of the time, we will secure the loan with whatever you are financing. For instance, if you are financing a piece of equipment, we will use that equipment to have it as collateral. If it's a piece of land, we'll use that land to have it as collateral. You must also agree to take bar training courses. This is something that somebody might be required to take if you have no experience. These courses are helpful. They're on financial and production training. They're offered throughout the state. And there are several vendors, including Fort Valley State, that offer bar training. Even if you don't have a direct loan with us, you can take that training course. And of course, for the farm ownership loan, you must have participated in the management of a farm for at least 3 years. These are the types of loans that we have and their limitations. The operating is up to 400,000. The farm ownership is 600,000. The guaranteed loan is 1.825 million. And then the down payment assistance loan cannot exceed 300,150. With the operating loans, you can use it to provide working capital on your farm. If you need to purchase fuel, chemicals, fertilizer, hay for your cattle, any of these things that aren't fixtures to the property, like the pasture, the seed, these can be repaid in 1 year's time. And we call those annual operating loans. And everything that has tangible collateral like equipment or livestock has to be repaid within 7 years. The farm ownership loan can also be used to pay for loan closing costs. If you are developing soil and water conservation, if you need capital improvements like constructing a barn or a facility on your property, a greenhouse, if you are building something on a property that you already own, fencing, and making land purchases. All of these things can be used in the farm ownership loan program. There's also another great program called the down payment assistance loan. It provides 5% down payment towards the purchase of a family farm. We can loan up to 45% of the purchase price or the appraised value or $667,000. The maximum loan amount is $300,150. This loan program works in tandem with a loan that you have applied for with a commercial bank or another agricultural lender. The guaranteed loan program is a little bit different. The other programs that we talked about before are all direct financing, meaning that it's directly coming from the FSA office and directly from the application to the farm loan officer. The guaranteed loan program is made and serviced by lenders. So we work with lenders like Farm Credit and other local banks to provide funding to our applicants. To qualify for an FSA guarantee loan, an applicant must meet all the general eligibility requirements and be unable to obtain the loan without the guarantee. The limitation for this program is 1.825 million. The financing is coming directly from the bank, so they don't have the same requirements as we do when you're applying to purchase real estate. I recommend to people that don't have 3 years experience managing their own farm to apply for the guaranteed loan because there is a way to bypass that requirement using Farm Credit or a local bank that's participating in the guaranteed program. These are our interest rates for the 3 different loan types that we have. They change every first of the month, but once you get approved for the loan, it's fixed throughout the term of your loan. These are common misconceptions that I wanted to list on the slide so that everybody could understand the things that we hear at the FSA office from the phone or we're at outreach events. The things on here, I will debunk these theories by giving you the truth. FSA will look at your credit score. That's not true. FSA will look at your credit history. We're not looking for a particular score. We're not looking for you to have a 750 and no debts. What we're looking for in your credit report is that you have good repayment ability. You pay all your other creditors on time. You don't have any delinquencies or judgments against you. And you'd be more than likely to repay FSA back in the future. You do not have to have a turn down letter. That's something from our old regulation years and years ago. What we're looking for is credit elsewhere. So that means you've been shopping around for credit and you might have been turned down, but we're not going to ask for a letter unless we believe from your balance sheet or your application package that you may be approved with a commercial bank. Our job is not to compete with the commercial banks because we have better interest rates and we don't want to steal their customers. Guarantees mean automatic approval. That's not true. The guaranteed program is from the guaranteed lenders. It does not mean that you are guaranteed to get the loan. It's just the name of the program. Beginning farmer means first-time farmer. That's something that we bump into sometimes. Beginning farmer for our regulation is that you've been farming for less than 10 years, but you do have some experience. You do have some background or education. A first-time farmer means that they haven't been farming at all. It would be their first time farmer on their own. They've never owned a property. They've never worked for a farmer or have that in their background. So that's a little bit different. Landowners and farmers are the same. That's not true either. You can be a landowner and live on a rural property, but what makes you a farmer is that you have income from that property. You produce a product, you sell that product, and then you report that on your taxes. You are a farmer. You make more than $1,000 a year in producing income from your property, whether it's from eggs, produce, livestock, or row cropping. Previous denials count against new applications. That's not true either. If you get denied from FSA, that's okay. You can reapply as many times as you like. The denials do not count against you at all. And of course, you can apply more than once. We're going to look at your application like it's brand new. You may already be in our system, but any previous denials or mishaps do not count against you.
Millicent,
Mhm.
we have a couple of questions that are coming in and I want to catch them while you're still kind of fresh. The
Okay.
first question refers back to the microloans and it says, are the microloan terms the same as the direct loan terms? Example, do you have to be turned down by a conventional lending institution?
You don't have to be turned down, but you would have to be qualified for our credit elsewhere. So the microloans and the direct, they have the same eligibility. You already have to be shopping around for credit, and for whatever reason, they do not want to do business with you. It could be that you don't meet their qualifications.
Okay. Another question that came in was how much of the decision is made dependent upon the plan or the individual credit history? Can I increase my bottom line or amount of the loan based on the market?
Based on the market, I can answer the first part of that question. It will be the decision will be made on both your plan, the business plan, and your credit history. So the credit history is your eligibility, your qualification to be part of the program. That means that you have good repayment ability, you don't have any delinquencies on any other accounts. And then the second portion of the decision will be made on the business plan. So once you're past the eligibility, then we'll move forward to cash flow and your business plan. I don't know how to answer the second part of the question.
Ms. Simmons, do you want to unmute and ask the second half of your question?
Yes, good evening. So I have known some farmers who may ask for $50,000 and it be based on, what they think the operating plan should reflect and still be denied, even though they passed the credit history part. And it may be that they're asking for too much money, or it could be something related to that. So if they want upward toward more money, is that possible, that decision? So if I wanted $150,000, what part of that is based on my credit history or, just my plan? Because my plan might be based on the market, what I got from, UGA, the extension, budget reports, you know, and I think I'm gonna make $100,000. And, you know, I may even be able to show some proof of, you know, some connections of people gonna purchase, but still, you know, getting denied for, you know, whatever reason. So just as far as how much money we can ask for, is that based on more of our credit? Because if I could prove that my plan is gonna do that much, I should be able to get that much.
Okay, I think I understand a little bit clearer. You're saying that can you apply for more money based on what your business plan wants to purchase? Is that right? Or
Yes.
needs to purchase? Okay. The answer is yes, you can apply for $100,000 if you need $100,000 and it's proven by your business plan. If you need that 100,000 to purchase equipment and you put that in your application, then the loan officer will use that as part of their decision making. They will determine the $100,000 on that 7 years term and then put it along with whatever income you're making with your business plan based off what you are producing, what you are selling as a farmer.
Thank you, Millicent. There's also one other question. So even if a farmer meets all qualification and has good repayment history, is getting approved final decision up to just the loan officer?
Yes, to answer that question, yes. We like to work in tandem with the person that is applying, but we are using the knowledge of the loan officer along with any marketing ability of that product and then what we found from the extension budgets. So you can request the maximum loan amount, but we're gonna work with what your business plan says, and then we're gonna help you develop a realistic plan for that operation.
Thank you, Millicent.
You're welcome.
Hold on, one more just popped up. Can farmers apply outside of their county?
Yes and no. Yes, they can apply, but we're gonna direct that application to their headquarter county office where there is a farm loan office located there. FSA offices are in every other county, but farm loan offices are in particular districts. So you would have to call the farm loan manager or the state office or the farm loan officer to figure out where your application needs to go. Because we all handle different districts and different counties.
Millicent, can you see Mr. Tripp's comment in the chat? Would you like to read that out to the FSA family?
Yes. And our state executive director, Mr. Tripp, has said that if you feel a decision that has been made in error, if you have any concerns, you are also encouraged to speak with your farm loan manager or call the state office. And I'll make sure that the state office information is in the chat. So if you ever feel like your decision was made in error, please feel free to contact the state office.
Thank you, Millicent.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Mr. Tripp.
So just to reiterate, these are some suggestions to have ready with you to meet with the farm loan officer. Identify your operation and what type of operation you want to have. Know the costs. Bring your records to your appointment, any lease agreements, ownership records, tax returns, sales contracts, and construction quotes. We would like to see those with your application. So go ahead and have those at the ready. Also build a farm business plan. Think about your marketing. Who are you marketing these products to? Where will you market these products? What are the income projections for your farm and the cost? Keep your records organized. What household expenses affect your farm? Any medical, food, taxes, education expenses, and credit card payments. We're gonna look at your whole business plan along with your family living costs to make a decision. And then your last step is to determine financing. How much money do you need to purchase that livestock, purchase the land, or purchase working capital. So think about all these things when you're developing your business plan and what type of farm operation you want to have. Look at your numbers first. Look at it with a family member. If you need help from the extension office or with FSA, please feel free to give us a call or them a call to develop the best business plan for your financing needs. This is a map of all our farm loan offices throughout the state. We have about 10 offices here. I work with Stephanie Jackson. She's my farm loan manager. We have another farm loan officer with us, Richmond Brew, and our program technician is Monique Carpenter. We cover 25 counties in this district, but there are other farm loan offices throughout the state that are willing to help you. Please take a look at this map and the phone numbers that go along with it. If you have a county that's outside of my district, these are the folks you need to contact. These are the managers that are associated with those farm loan officers.
Millicent, leave that slide up for just 5 more seconds because there was a question. Who is the current farm loan officer and what district is he located? And
Okay.
I don't, Ms. Johnson, do you want to unmute and clarify your question? Are you talking about Mr. Tripp or are you talking about Mr. Tyson? Go ahead, Ms. Johnson, if you would like to ask your question out loud.
I was just wondering who was the district officer in Georgia, I guess state maybe. State district manager.
Okay, our farm loan chief, his name is Robert Tyson, and he works out of the state office in Athens.
Oh, Athens. Okay. All right. Thank you. That was it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Uh-huh.
And Millicent, also on your slide, we cannot see the number for Mike Gibbs in Colquitt County. So, oops. It looks like it's 229-985-6509.
I think that's what it is.
So hopefully, Benji, that number is 229-985-6509. And then, okay, so yeah, Moultrie, Georgia is Colquitt County. So that is correct. Thank you, Millicent.
You're welcome. And I'll leave this screen up for a few more seconds. These are all the headquarter county offices that have farm loan. There's that Moultrie, Georgia number from Mike Gibbs here. And all the other managers' numbers for the counties they operate.
You know, Ms. Harrison, that number is different than the number I just called out from the other slide.
Okay, good catch. Let's
So,
go off.
which one do we think is correct?
I think we should go off these numbers, the 985-3176.
Okay.
Need to update that map. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got some important deadlines coming up for all of our producers here in Georgia. If you produce onions or pecans or cabbage, the due date to report those crops are March 15th. Sweet corn, tobacco, and tomatoes are due by May 15th. And all other crops participating in CRP, soybeans, corn, any other spring planted grains, and alfalfa, that is due July 15th. Please make sure to get your crops reported by these deadlines so that you can avoid the extra fees.
Yep.
Late file reports will require a basic measurement service fee of $31 or $46 for additional time as applicable. Our county offices get busier throughout the summer because of crop reporting, so July 15th is the deadline. You can get them in before then. Like Neil told us before, farmers.gov is the house for all USDA, FSA, and other agencies, their services, all other information about deadlines, where you can find application forms and more information is there. We also have a main farm service agency website and other links that you can visit, such as the microloan link and the newfarmers.usda.gov. We have sister agencies like Natural Resource and Conservation, Rural Development, Risk Management Agency. All of these agencies are part of USDA. So if you need more information about their programs, you can find it online. The best way to stay in the know is through our Gov Delivery emails and text. For instance, if you're part of the Fort Valley Service Center and you farm here, if you text the word Georgia Peach to 372-669, we will text you about all our upcoming deadlines. We'll remind you to get your crop reporting in. We'll email you important information as it comes out. New programs come out every single year. And to stay in the know, the best way is to sign up through our Gov Delivery and emails and text. I'll put the links to farmers.gov and all of our other home pages in the chat box. But this is all I have for farm loan. Thank you all for your questions. I'm excited to keep presenting this information through Fort Riley State. Thank you, Joy and Mr. Neal, for putting this on. I hope that the more information gets out there, the more applications we get in, and we can help our farmers get the financing they need. Neal is next. He's going to go over our other program called the Farm Storage Facility Program. But my portion of the presentation is complete.
Thank you, Millicent.
You're welcome.
And while we're waiting for Neil to bring up his screen, I just want to let everyone know that I've dropped a survey link in the chat box. So if you guys will complete that at the conclusion of Mr. Leonard's presentation, I would greatly appreciate it.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and keep moving. We're gonna talk about farm storage facility loans. As I mentioned earlier, again, the farm storage facility loan is part of our loan program. However, it's actually housed in the farm program side up under the price support program. So just wanted to just mention that we're going to start out with an overview with farm storage facility loan. And I'm using this PowerPoint as a guide, but I'm just hoping that I just be able to talk through and explain what is the farm storage facility loan. It has been around for a number of years now, but as far as what we're able to do with the farm storage facility loan has been expanded. Back when I was in the county office in the 90s, for the most part, we did grain bins, but you know, through the years, farm store facility loan has really expanded, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Farm store facility loans provide low interest financing for producers to store, handle, and or transport eligible commodities they produce. This includes the following: acquire, construct, or upgrade new or used portable or permanent or fixed on-farm storage and handling facilities, acquire new and used storage and handling trucks, acquire portable or permanently affixed storage and handling equipment. Let me just basically say that with the farm storage facility loan is to help provide a storage need. So with a producer that's out there that has a storage need, and so that's what the farm store facility loan is, to help those farmers that have a need. So this is not for a new and beginning farmer that say, hey, look, I may need this down the road. No, this is to address a need that you have now. So that's one of the things I do want to go ahead and mention, about the farm store facility loan. This particular program exists to help with a need that they have as of right now. So I just want to go ahead and mention that as we move forward. Who is eligible? An eligible borrower is any person who is a landowner, landlord, leaseholder, tenant, or sharecropper. Eligible borrowers must be able to show repayment ability and meet other requirements to qualify for a loan. I just go ahead and mention, for the most part, with this loan program, some of the things that Millicent mentioned about the farm loan these are some of the same things that you're going to look at a applicant will have to meet with the farm storage facility loan as well. So some of the same things as far as having a balance sheet, as far as liabilities, assets, and those things, having history with your operation, those things, a lot of those things that she mentioned, we will also be looking at the same thing with the farm storage facility loan. There are some differences, but a lot more common between farm loan and the farm store facility loan. Eligible commodities, we have listed here. And again, this has expanded a good bit. These right here list a number of eligible commodities that a producer can actually be growing or raising. So just want to mention that. I do want to get to this particular slide, this eligible facility equipment and updates. And just go ahead and mention, again, with the farm store facility loan, it has expanded a whole lot since its conception. And I talked with Teresa Winter, my district director, and wanted to sort of get a feel for who is applying for what in this particular district when it comes to farm store facility loans. And so one of the things that producers are applying for when it comes to farm store facility loans, again, grain bins is one, and that's always been the case. Even when I was a CED back in the 90s, I had done some grain bins, peanut wagons, cooler trucks, and hay barns. I will say with these particular storage facilities, and I don't like the way she explained it. She says, opportunities missed. So oftentimes in this area of the state, one of the things that producers may not be aware of is that hay barns are available. And so just want to go ahead, there are many other structures that's eligible on the farm store facility loan. However, hay barns are one that producers very well can find themselves, can use and get through the farm store facility loan. So oftentimes we do have hay producers out there, and oftentimes you just go up and down the highway and you can see farmers out there, that's growing hay, whether they have it for their own livestock or even if they're selling their hay, that they can actually use a hay barn. Oftentimes they may have the hay wrapped, but a hay barn is one of those things that people in this area can find themselves that can be very helpful. and it can show that there is a need. I just want to go ahead and mention, if with grain bins, this has been around for a number of years. If you growing corn, wheat, soybeans, and if you have a history of growing that crop, and based on the acreage and the yields that you are harvesting each year, then we can determine to say, hey, look, based on the acreage and what his yields and what he's harvesting, then that person very well can be eligible for a farm store facility loan. And again, it's the farm store facility loan is to address a need that the producer has as of right now. Cooler trucks, again, in the past, that was something that we didn't do, but we do that now with some farm store facility loans. So oftentimes we have our vegetable producers who very well need a cooler truck. So that's available. That's oftentimes a need for our fruit and vegetable producers. So again, storage needs, and then just being mindful that there are some missed opportunities that for some producers out there that we can address a need that they very well may have. And with the farm store facility loan, we do have a micro loan with farm store facility loan, just like we have under the farm loan program, we have a micro loan. Well, for the farm store facility loan, we also have a micro loan. So I would just simply say the requirements for it is not as stringent as it is for a loan amount that that's more than $50,000. So we do have the micro loan, and with that, when it comes to certifying your history, your farming history, that can actually be certified by the producer. So there, and then the security requirement is a little different. It's not as stringent when it comes to the micro loan. So again, we do have a micro loan up under the farm store facility loan as well. Here are the loan terms and options that we have with farm store facility loan. We have farm store facility loan maximum terms 3, 5, 7, 10, and 12 years. I will go ahead and mention that about the interest rates here. The interest rates, even like with the loans that Ms. Millicent was mentioning, that they change each month, and with the farm store facility loan as well, it changes each month. And actually today, the loan amounts, let me see if I can lay my hands on them. I had it here in front of me. The loan amounts for farm store facility loan, I know the chart that we have here, actually that's a year ago, February 21, but I hadn't had a chance to update that particular slide, but the terms for the farm store facility loan as of March the 1st, 22, a 3-year loan term is 1.15, a 5-year loan term is 1.75, 7-year loan 1.875, 10-year loan terms 1.875, and the 12-year terms is 2.0. So with the farm store facility loan, those rates change each month. Financial analysis, unlike farm loan programs, farm store facility loans are available to any producer for an eligible commodity, even if they can get credit elsewhere. That is a little different with farm store facility loan versus the farm loan program. Provide financial statement that is less than 90 days old on FSA 2037 or similar. Again, some of these records that we're gonna be requiring for the farm store facility loans are same records that you will have to provide for the farm store facility loan as well. So just, I'm not gonna read through the other bullets, but just be mindful, those things that farm loan look at for their applicants, these are some of the same things we're gonna look at as well when it comes to the farm store facility loan. But just again, with this particular loan, just be mindful that you are trying to address a need that the farmer may have, a storage need for row crop producers, grain producers, hay producers. So just being mindful of what this particular program provides. Environmental evaluation requirement. All loan requests are subject to an environmental evaluation, accepting delivery of equipment, starting any site preparation or construction before loan approval may impede the successful completion of an environmental evaluation and may adversely affect the loan eligibility. I just want to go ahead and mention with the farm loan, and I could even ask Millicent to jump in if she like and give a little bit more background on this, is that when it comes to our loans, there is a environmental evaluation requirement when it comes to our loans. And so basically, you want to make sure you've gotten approved before you get started. And so when you make an application, there is any environmental evaluation. You need to make sure that has been conducted and completed before you get started. So I will yield for a minute. If she care to expound on that, that's fine. But if not, we'll keep moving.
Yes, for your farm storage facility loans, what this requirement means is that you have a farm serial number with our county office that your farm is located in, and that you have completed a form called the AD 1026. This form just means that you are not going to have your farm operation on a wetland or a land that is considered highly erodible. We are not going to invest or finance a property that is going to be a detriment to the land. So please make sure to communicate with your county office and the CED before you approve your construction and before you apply for the loan itself. So don't start the process of construction or make any changes to the land while you're applying with FSA.
Thank you, Melissa. I'll just read through this. Farm storage facility loan additional requirements, provide your credit storage capacity. Again, just making reference to the storage need. That's a key requirement with this particular program, or whatever storage facility that you are seeking to apply for. Just simply say it, the storage that we will provide will be no more than what need that you have. You very well can be available for grain bins, so to speak. We aren't gonna make you a loan. We aren't gonna, for grain bins, no more than what your need is. If you see yourself wanting to, if your history proves that you have a storage need for 3 grain bins, well, that's what we'll approve you for. If you say, well, hey, look, I may want to expand later on, I guess I better go on and apply for 6. Well, you can only get no more than what the need shows for. So I'm just giving that example. I don't know if anyone may need 6 grain bins. I know that will cover a lot, but just giving you an example in that what you're going to apply for and what you're going to prove for is no more. The storage facility is going to be no more than what you can show need for. Gathering information for your project, estimates, yields, current storage, plant history, if not on file. Complete the CCC 185 facility loan application, $100 non-refundable application fee per applicant. For joint partners in joint venture, $100 each partner. And then the last one is questions. So I don't know if we have any questions as it relates to the farm store facility loan. They want to talk about that as well, right along with our loan program, but I've said it a couple of times, just want to make mention, Joy, in that the farm store facility loan is there to provide a storage need. I know I've said that a number of times, but just want to emphasize that. So for those vegetable producers out there who need a cooler truck, for those producers out there that's growing hay, they may be selling hay, or they may be having hay for their own livestock. Then, hey, we can do a hay barn. And again, we've done it for a number of years for those producers out there who growing grain crops in need of grain bins. I know we had one producer that I've worked with a number of years back, and he still uses his grain bins, in that oftentimes with grain producers, the prices are better off during the off season. And so he can store his grain bins, and then when the prices get a lot better, get more favorable, that's when he sells his crop. So again, that farm store facility loan, there are some missed opportunities out there. So there's a possibility that those producers out there who need some storage come into the office here, the Peach County office, Ms. Laura Edison. She is the CED here that handles farm programs, and they can assist you with an application for farm store facility loans. And that's it, Joy.
Neil, we do have one question, and I think it might have been applicable to Ms. Harrison's presentation. And the question was, is there a specific business plan format?
Well, I'll let Millicent address that.
Sure.
Well, go ahead, Millicent. I'll let you address.
To answer that question, no, there isn't a specific format. You can provide your own information in your business plan forms, or you can provide the ones that we can give to you. The format is simple. You can include what your income might be, how many acres you're operating on, how many crops you're growing, and what those yields are. Or if you have livestock, we want to know how many head of cattle you expect to sell or keep back. and then your expenses associated with each crop, and then the livestock that you have for your business plan. So as long as the format is easy to read and it's simple and straightforward, then we'll accept it as part of your application.
Thank you, Millicent. And Neil, one other question, the tongue-tied, farm storage facility loan program, is that pot of money available all year round, or is there only a certain window that
That's year
can apply
round.
for that? Okay,
That's year round. Yeah.
okay. Let me see if I have any other questions. There's a question. Ms. Johnson, wouldn't the county agent help you with a farm plan? I'm going to take a stab at that question out loud since I do work for Cooperative Extension. Whether it's Fort Valley State Cooperative Extension or the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension, if they have an ag and natural resources agent, that should be something that that agent could help you with. So yes, ma'am, absolutely. And then our dean is on the call. Dr. Noble asked, is there a percentage growth in storage need required for the load? For example, for hay storage to grow 25% current capacity. Neil, can you see it?
Yeah.
The question?
No, I don't see the question, but I was
Okay.
listening. And run that by again, Joy. Let me make sure I get an understanding.
Well, what I'm going to try to, well, you know what, Dr. Noble, I am going to unmute you. Just bear with me. And I'm going to let you ask your question out loud. Okay, Dr. Noble, go ahead.
Yeah, I had some typing errors in that thing, look like, for that message. So ignore my typing.
It's okay. It's okay.
In the case where a person wants to grow his storage capacity, does he have to reach a certain point in order for it to get the loan? Double
What's
the
that?
loan? He wants to grow his storage capacity for hay. Is there a minimum amount of enlargement required to get the loan? I want to enlarge it 25%, 50%, double it. How much can the loan require for me to get this increased capacity?
And the increased capacity that is what you ask.
Yeah, what's the minimum?
The minimum amount that they'll be eligible for, or the maximum amount they'll be able to get?
Minimum amount.
Well, I'm sure, with the minimum amount, and that's something that we very well may have to get a more definite answer to you, Dr. Noble. I just know that the storage amount that you can get approved for is no more than what is determined what your need is.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That I'm pretty sure you can probably get less than what you may want or need, but I know you can't get facilities for more than what is determined what your need is.
I was thinking of an example where I currently have 15 cows. I want to buy 10 more cows. So I'm trying to get my facility prepared for storing that hay.
And for storing your hay.
For these new group of cows I'm going to expand to.
Well, that's a good question. And again, we'll be looking at what you have done previously, what your history has been on how much hay that you grow and how much history or records that you have shown how much you have harvested. And then that's going to be, then they're going to determine how big a facility that you would need based on what your history has been. But like you said, you saying, hey, look, I know I'm going to be looking to get more cows, but whatever hay that you have produced is going to determine what you're going to be eligible for.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. And Millicent, I'm going to let you take this last question. And I have to close a screen. Acceptance is not approval. How many times can you send it back, and how long could this process go on?
For a farm loan application, or what's that mean, acceptance?
Yes, Ms. Simmons says yes.
We have 30 days to issue you a decision for approved or denied, but that means your application was complete upon submission. So make sure that you included everything that that loan officer or manager asked for in the application. And then they have 30 days to get you a decision back. It does vary. So if you are purchasing real estate, we need additional time to get an appraisal done. And since we don't have any state appraisals or appraisers, we have to contract those out, and it takes about 30 more days to get you a decision. But your loan officer and managers would be with you during that process, and then making sure that you know the timeframes. Just when you're shopping around for real estate, or if you have a sales contract for that real estate or equipment, make sure your seller or the person that you're purchasing from knows that you're working with FSA, so that they can allow enough time for us to process your application.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. I'm going back to the question bank. When is the best time during the year to apply for a farm storage facility loan to get approval?
Anytime throughout the year. There is no best or worst time. As soon as you get the application in, the CED or whoever's processing will be in contact with you. We do have times where there is busy times for that particular office, and it varies from every office location to the next. So I would call ahead and schedule that appointment and go ahead and have everything that you need to submit to them, and then ask that particular person or county when you can expect a call back or an answer.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. I don't see any more questions, but we do have our State Executive Director, Mr. Arthur Tripp, on the webinar with us this evening, and I have just unmuted him to allow him the opportunity to address everyone who's in attendance tonight. Mr. Tripp, go ahead.
Well, yes, good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir,
Yes.
we can.
Yes, yes.
Well, it is such a joy and such an honor to be with you, Joy, and our team, Millicent, who's just absolutely wonderful, and Neil. Good evening, everyone. My name is Arthur Tripp, and I'm our State Executive Director of the Farm Service Agency. I'm new to the agency. I received my appointment from President Biden in October. But I can tell you, ever since coming in, we are prioritizing two things: customer service and communication. And I will say that if there is anything that we can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out again to your county office, your local team there, or also our state office. You know, I know sometimes things can get stuck, or sometimes things can get lost in translation. So, but as I was mentioning, you know, if there's anything that we can do for you, do not hesitate to reach out. You know, we have over 300 people in this state. We have 66 offices, and at the end of the day, we are all paid to work for you. So again, if there's anything that we can do, don't hesitate to reach out. And it's just an honor. Joy, thank you for hosting this program. I know there are several more that are upcoming. You hear my dinner that's going off here, but again, if there's anything we can do, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm really excited. I mean, the partnership and the opportunity for us to get in front of you all to do the presentation that our great team did today is exactly what we want to do. So thank you all.
Mr. Tripp, a question just popped in the chat box specifically for you. How has the progress been going in assisting the farmers with loan approvals?
Yeah, you know, I think that, you know, that's something that we're consistently looking at. You know, actually just yesterday, I have a weekly meeting with my farm loan team, my farm loan chief, and our specialist in the office. And I think, again, the number one thing that we are prioritizing is communication. You know, we think that we could do a better job of preparing our folks, our customers, and our borrowers with the right information before they come in. All right, as Millicent and Neil laid out today, these are the things you're going to need before you come in the office. And so I think the more that we can do a better job of preparing our borrowers, preparing our customers, I think we'll be in a better position. But look, that's something that we're continuing to look at. But the flow of information at the end of the day is what's most important for me and my team.
Thank you guys so much. So with that being said, I want to close out tonight's webinar. I want to thank Mr. Neil Leonard. I want to thank Ms. Millicent Harrison. And I also want to thank our State Executive Director for making an appearance tonight to be with us. I just want to remind everyone that I put the survey link in the chat box. please just take a moment to fill out the survey. And also next Tuesday at the same time, 6 p.m., we're going to be featuring 2 more programs. We're going to be featuring the Agricultural Risk Coverage Program and the Price Loss Coverage Program. These programs are tongue twisters, but I just want to appreciate and thank everyone for their participation tonight. And I just want to tell everybody good night and have a good week. Bye-bye, everyone.
All
Thank you.
right, thank you. Good
Thank you,
night.
Joy. Thank you, Arthur.
You're welcome.